Welcome back to the Current Electric High School Basketball Girls State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern alongside my co-host Coach Sid from St. Francis. The second Division V game today will be the number 2 ranked Lourdes Academy out of Oshkosh against the number 3 ranked team from Barneveld. Coach, I got to tell you, we're going to start with Lourdes Academy. The Lady Knights 24-5 overall and undefeated in conference, the Trailways East Conference. They are coached by Allie Starr. And before we talk a little bit about that team, Coach, I got to tell you, listening to Allie Starr, and we'll get to hear her here in a minute, it reminded me on how much joy we should have coaching. You know, we look, I'm now retired and you kind of are retired, but when you look back, I hope that you can look at how much joy maybe we should have had coaching. You know, we're always looking at the next game and the next matchup. And we get to this interview with Allie Starr and how much fun she is having coaching this team. I think it'll put a smile on your face when I listen to her talk about wearing the net that they cut down to church the next day because she wanted the Lord to see the net. And she still had it on as we were interviewing her. It brought a smile to my face, and it made me a little bit sad that I didn't seem to have as much joy coaching as I should have, as certainly not as much as she had. And Lourdes Academy, really good program. They are led by Hallie Bauer, and they call her Hallie Buckets Bauer. And we're going to take a listen to Allie Starr talking about Hallie Buckets Bauer.
Haley Bauer, we call her, well, we don't call her that. The crowd calls her Haley Buckets Bauer. And boy, does she know how to fill it up. So she's been starting since her freshman year for the Lady Knights, and just each year gets better and better. And a phenomenal three-point threat, but she's an all-around threat, a phenomenal passer. So this is a kid she's knocking on the doorstep of 500 assists and 500 steals. Rebounds. I got my assistants here helping me. The numbers are not my thing, Nicole. So I got my people that surround me. But yeah, so 500 boards and then 500 assists. And so when you think about, she's the all-time leading scorer in Lady Knights history. She broke that record, you know, with a couple games left to go into the, you know, where before we hit the postseason. And so she's just kind of shattering it. I said, like, just blow it up, right, kiddo? If you're going to break it, let's really break it. And so she is also the 3-time player of the year in our conference, the Trailways East Conference. And yeah, just an all-around great kid, competitor. She loves to compete. She has an older brother that she watched at state 4 years ago compete at a high level, and he beats her up. He's a practice player of ours. So she can't quite get away from that type of competition family. You know, she goes home to it, and then she comes to practice and she receives it too. So she's just a gritty kid who does a lot for us offensively and defensively.
Coach, when you listen to Allie Starr talk about her team and talk about these players, she had stepped away from coaching for a few years to have some kids, and then got back to it. And she said, you know, getting back to it, when you're sitting in the stands, you're seeing things a little bit differently. And her passion for these girls and this team, I'm telling you, she's my new favorite coach in the state of Wisconsin from Lourdes Academy. The Lady Knights will take on the number 3 seed Barneveld Golden Eagles. They're 21-7 overall. They took second place in the Six Rivers East Conference, and they are coached by Hall of Fame coach Jimmy Myers. Jimmy's been around a long time.
Set the record for the most career all-time wins on the girls' side. 38 years girls, went over to the guys for a couple years, won a state title on that side, and then came back this year. Had the opportunity to sit next to him at a Milwaukee Panther women's basketball coaches clinic chalkboard thing this year. Very humble. You would have no idea that, you know, I know who he was, but here's a guy that won over 700 some games and the state titles and the 12th trip to state. Obviously a legend. I love what the Oshkosh Lourdes coach had to say. gonna have her work cut out going against a legend.
No doubt. And when we got a chance to talk with Coach, he talked about two of the players that really make this team go.
We were led by Isabel Durst. She's just a quality young lady as a junior. I mean, as a point guard, she's one of the best that I've had, and I've had some awful good ones. But she kind of runs the team. She leads us in scoring, steals, turnovers, assists, rebounds, 3 points attempted, 3 points made, all the major categories. But yet she still does a great job of getting her teammates involved and getting them the ball where they can score for us. And then we've got another Bryn Meyer who's really stepped up this year. She's a senior, so she was a bench player last year. Real good athlete, very quick. She's helped us out quite a bit.
Coach, you've, for the most part, have only coached on the girls' side. You did have one game coaching the boys here recently, but it's a different game when you're coaching the girls, coaching the boys. And you got to give Jimmy Myers a lot of credit. Doing both and being a Hall of Fame coach and then coming back. Earlier in the interview, he talked about this matchup zone that he's kind of famous for, and it took the girls a little while to understand what he was looking for, but he said, we're running three defenses, but that matchup zone is certainly one that we run a lot. And I love the fact that this team has gotten to state, Hall of Fame coach, and the fact that he said, look, it took me a while to get these girls to understand what I was looking for, but he looked in the camera, he said, trust me, we're playing pretty well right now. That should be an awfully good matchup.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Barneveld on his return to take the gold. Durst is probably one of the, if not the best individual, and not to knock at anyone else, but at that level, actually at any level, she's hard to contain, hard to stay in front of.
Yeah, and that's what he had said as well. Hey, we're going to get to a break. Other side, we'll break down the Division II matchups. This is the Current Electric High School Basketball Girls State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy only on My 24.